Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw tips and tricks, and a lot of people have asked me over the years about drawing 3D, and this picture really doesn't do it any justice. If you can tell, the parts are scooped out. Now this particular one I made a mistake on, and I'll tell you why later in the video. You can see this black and gray line. When you're working with 3D, and this is what the file looks like, and you can see the black lines, because I put a black background in it and it seeped through because I didn't have my parts touching. So I put a black background to scoop out all this. And I did run this twice. I ran it at 25 speed at 100 power and then 50 speed at 100 power to get that depth. And then I sandblasted all the burn residue off. It looks pretty good except for this. So I thought I'd show you how I drew this. And you can take it out your laser, and just remember you need to run it in 3D mode. We're going to get the Polygon Tool, have it on 6 sides, making a perfect polygon by holding down the control button and then hitting P. I'm going to bring in indexing lines. We might or might not need them. This is one of those situations where you kind of need to do some things in order, because the fact, I'm going to move this one out of the way for a second. If you don't, and once you turned it into a 3D, it's really hard to move and it's really hard to center, and it eats up a lot of file memory and RAM memory. So we're going to take a 2-point line, and basically we're going to divide this. So I got on that node and went to that node. I get my Smart Fill tool and I fill that in. I left click, right click, and now that part is black. I'm going to take that piece right there and have it snap to that other piece. I'm going to get rid of my line. Now this is kind of where I made the mistake in doing this. I 3D'd it before I moved it. I'm going to open Windows, Dockers, Transform, and I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to move the rotation to the center. It doesn't look like it's in the center, but it is. And I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees just 5 times because we already have one copy. And there you have that. Now we can actually take away the indexing lines now. We're going to Smart Fill that center. And I'm going to nudge it over. I'm going to left click. I'm going to right click in gray, a light gray. You can't really even see it. I'm going to go to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour to the center 0.001 times in a black and hit apply. Now that I have this open, I can do the same thing to this one, and all I have to do is hit apply. Whoop. Okay, I didn't change it to a white, to a gray. I wouldn't use a white because of the fact that it's too much contrast. And so we're going to take this one now and apply it. And by doing this, you could actually do one and then rotate it. But I think that's where I got off with my other one. And then I'm going to take this one and just move it back. There's your 3D. Now I'm going to Control G and make a group of that. I'm going to get out my Polygon tool again. And this is why I like working in the center of the page. And then I'm going to hit P, and I've got a black border. So I'm going to nudge that out of the way. Let me get rid of the picture here. Whoop. Move the picture, and I'm going to color that in black. Now I'm going to nudge it back, and I'm going to go to Object, and I'm going to go to Order. I'm going to go to Back of Page. What I did before, I moved these things around, and I had a gap between there, between that white and that black. Now you can see right there what happens when you're working in 3D. Now if you wanted to make this exact one, you would just duplicate this around the corners. But you would really kind of want to do that before you did it in 3D. We could actually take away that black block. And this is the reason, Control D, it's really hard to get that, because once it's in this mode, it's a lot more difficult to have Corel, but it looks like it did it. Let's just test it with this. And you can see there's no black bleed. So you just need to be careful. And then you can take this and double click on it. And here's the problem. You can't get the center of that very good. So that's why you would use indexing lines. Because when it's in this 3D mode, it reacts so differently. Yeah, I think it's because it's eating a lot of computer memory. So we're going to have it snap to those guidelines. Let me make sure I've got guidelines snap to on. No, I do not. So we'll have it snap to these guidelines instead of that figure. And you know what? So it's having so much trouble. Let's nudge this out of the way. Now we can move this rotation in those guidelines and it put it right in the center. And then you could rotate this thing. Shouldn't have closed that Docker. Go to Windows, Docker, Transform, Rotation. It should be the same and hit 6. And see how long it's taken to do this. First of all, this file is really huge. I did it for the video. I should have made it smaller. Then you could take that one and put it back in the center by nudging it over. And now you should have no back black now behind there. Now, if you want to do this for yourself, before you make it into 3D and before you do anything else, you need to resize it. So we're going to Control G and make a group. And we're going to make this thing only like 4 inches big with this locked. So it'll go 4 inches by 4 inches. Really and truly, the smaller the item in 3D, the better it looks. The blends work better. Then you need to put it up in your top left corner of your laser. And before you run it, and you're going to run it in 3D mode, and I apologize, I don't have a printer or a laser hooked up to this, but you want to convert this thing to a bitmap. I do not know why this makes it look better, but it does. It kind of fuzzies it up just a hair. Takes a little bit of time because it's doing a lot of work. But that's a pretty neat design, and yours should look like this without those black lines. You can actually see it looks like it's been scooped out. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.